Van Deeb, a dynamic leader with decades of experience building companies and crushing sales. He's been there and done that.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello. My name is Van Deeb.
Inspiring audiences across the country to do it too. Here's Van.
Welcome to the Van Deeb podcast. Man, I'm excited. Today I've got a special friend with me, but before we talk to John, please make sure to subscribe to this business podcast. You'll learn something. You'll get takeaways. You'll be able to incorporate it in your business, our topics. And if you subscribe to this podcast, you can also share it with people. But I want you to have this in your inbox twice a month whenever we have a podcast, so you can see all the exciting things that we're doing and help benefit you, not only in your business life, but in your personal life. So make sure to subscribe. Now I get to welcome a friend of mine and a person I admire, Mr. John Major. Welcome to the Van Deeb podcast.
Thank you, Van. Absolute pleasure to be here.
So I didn't tell you this up front, but we're going to talk about me the entire time. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's pretend John's not here. No. John is doing some really great things. He's recognized as just an authority in the mortgage industry. Your company is called Major Team Mortgage. I like the name because it lets people know that they're doing business with not just you, but there's a group of people helping them become successful.
It's funny how things happen, too, because Major Mortgage was already taken by a team that, well, not a team, Major Mortgage company that was started in Colorado. And, yeah, it's just interesting how things work out because it's like, it's not a club.
No.
It's a team. Like we're truly, we're doing it together.
You know, when I opened up Prime Realty, there was another one in Nebraska. But they were just using it as their portfolio for their investments. And just to tell you, the good human beings in the Midwest, this is being broadcast from Omaha, Nebraska. The people that owned it said, yeah, you can have it. Didn't charge me a dime. Just attorney fees. We used their attorneys, $250, and I got the name. But that's
Beautiful.
pretty cool.
Super cool.
Yeah. But, you know, Major's like your last name is a popular name. So
it beats Minor.
Better than John Minor. I'm sure there is a lot of John Minors out there. Major Team Mortgage located in Omaha, Nebraska. Tell us about, I want to talk about the word response. I think that is one of the most important characteristics of a good business person is when they're responsive. Now, you're helping people with the biggest investment of most people's lives. So would you say that responsiveness is super important in your industry?
No doubt. And when I think about that word and I think about personal and professional development in general, day by day, you got to respond. You have to continually take action. Yeah. Because
action's a good word. Yeah.
No doubt. Because, to be the best self, to be the best person you want to be is on the other side, but people are avoiding the action. And if you're not responding quickly, efficiently, effectively, time passes, time kills opportunities. And I think people may understand that in theory, but if they're not practicing that day in and day out, windows close.
Yeah, absolutely. It becomes, when you practice something, it becomes a discipline. The discipline becomes a habit, and before you know it, it's natural to you. So
it's a ritual.
Right. So in my 42-year career in real estate, I'm known for Van gets back to me immediately. I love that reputation. I pride myself in that. I'm probably over the top because I feel like if I don't get back with people immediately, they're probably going to think something happened because they're so used to me responding. Mm-hmm. And I preach that to our associates at Prime is I don't care if you're busy all day, if you've got clients all day, whatever industry you're in, and somebody's trying to get a hold of you, even a text saying, I'm with clients right now. Where can I reach out to you tonight after 7? Just saying that made your client feel like they matter.
Right.
And you
Care.
care. And 90% of the time, you'll probably get a text back saying, no problem, it can wait, just call me tomorrow. But knowing that they're important, and we have very few ways to show people that we respect them. We can say it, I respect you, but I'm like you, John, action. Don't just tell me you love me, show me. Don't just tell me that you want the best for me, help me get there. And so I really believe in action. So those things like getting back with people immediately, even, it just means the world. People, especially today, they feel like they're on an island. A lot of people feel like they're not being cared about, that they don't matter. Responsiveness is one way to make people feel you do matter.
I don't want to hear a promise. I want to see a result.
Yeah.
I want to see people actually doing what they say they're going to do. Yeah. And we're all guilty of times where I wish I wouldn't have even said that because I truly didn't have the intention of doing it. But it's funny, we call it major action in our household.
Major
Not to say our
action.
kids.
Tell us the names of your kids, because I know your wife's Katie, and Katie is one heck of a real estate professional in Omaha, Nebraska. I was fortunate enough to do a deal with her. She is a true real estate professional. Katie Vapp with Katie Vapp Major with Berkshire Hathaway. One of the best. But what are your kids' names?
So we have Mikey. He's 6. Big Mike. Well, he likes to go by Michael.
Is he going to be bigger than you?
I would think so.
But can he play? The main question here, John, can he play basketball like you?
He's balling.
Is he really?
He's got some talent. Potential, we'll say. But he's got
John was going to play pro basketball after his career, but he decided he wanted to get in the mortgage business instead.
The 23-inch vertical didn't help you.
No, that's only double what I can do.
And then, Quinn's 8. So
Quinn's 8.
Second grade in kindergarten. Goes quick.
Oh my gosh.
If only we could pay to slow down time.
Yeah, you guys need to follow John and Katie on social media and see their beautiful family. You have great posts. And John, I read your posts on LinkedIn and Facebook, and they're always about positivity and self-improvement. But what is the best way for people to follow you or to reach out? Like your website,
and I appreciate that. MajorTeamMortgage.com is certainly an outlet. Instagram tends to be the one that I just is ingrained in me daily at johnmortgagemajor.com.
I still
Facebook
don't know how
is
to
tied
use
in there too.
I don't know how to use Instagram. Maybe you can show me.
Absolutely.
We didn't have Instagram back in the 1920s.
Yeah, the key is
we didn't even have indoor plumbing when I was a kid. That's how old
times
I am.
are a little different. Now you got kids who are swiping around their phones and finding apps faster than we are.
You know what's amazing?
Crazy.
Talk about responsiveness, John. I started in my real estate career in 1983. We didn't have cell phones. And I'm a freak about getting back with people. That's just my jam. And I look back, no cell phones. We would go to a 7-Eleven or a payphone, stick a dime in the payphone, and press all these buttons to check our voicemail. And then we'd still stand there and return those calls with another dime in the phone. Or you'd get home at night and you'd get this big, gigantic machine that was your answering machine, and you got your pad and pen. This is how I did it. Pressed play, and you write down all your messages. And they could have come 8 hours ago.
Jeez.
And nobody expected a call back because they didn't have any, we didn't have cell phones.
I mean, people could be waiting weeks, months for a return.
Right on. And so when you're a responsive geek like I am, that didn't help much not having the technology. But today, we have no excuses.
And you appreciate it more than the younger generations because they were born into this, whereas you were. I mean, think about the fax machines.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. And I was frugal with faxes. I mean, I didn't have the fancy one where it came out on plain paper. Mine has a roll. I don't know if any of you can remember fax machines and had a roll of paper. So when it would come out, I would get, I don't know, maybe 20 feet of documents, and then I'd cut with a scissors to make them 8.5 by 11, and then I put them in the copy machine and try to get them where they wouldn't roll up. I mean, it was like caveman real estate. You know what I mean?
Oh,
but it worked, and no one knew any better. We didn't have anything to choose from. It's not like
that was it.
It's not like we're sitting there and say, "Boy, I can't wait for them to invent email in 10 years." You know?
Like, this is the way.
This is the way it is.
Ran.
So, John, are you seeing the mortgage business? I mean, the rates seem to be pretty steady, but are you seeing maybe a little slowdown, like just recent statistics? And like I say, this is filmed in Omaha, Nebraska. The market in Omaha, which is still a really good market, but we're up 14% more inventory than we had last year at this time. Are you seeing any reflecting of that at all in your side of it? Most
certainly. You know, it's always cyclical. You don't know how long those cycles are going to play out.
Yeah.
But it does, obviously the data supports it, that inventory's up. Buyers are a little timid, of course, going into the winter months. People aren't as excited to move, but this is where deals can be made.
Totally agree.
And, you know, I think if people lack proper knowledge, they don't have the confidence to pull the trigger. And so that's where it's our duty and responsibility to continue to be an authority to help people understand what's possible. I mean, we heard recently that Trump may be coming out with a 50-year mortgage, which, you know, you can look at it as a positive or a negative. Obviously, a longer term, it's not going to pay down the principal, but that could be the reason why somebody actually can get into a home that they can make their own. And, you know, the financials, even just where rates are at, they change. So if you can make it work right now, it's a lot of times.
And that's advice I give to people too, is if you know what you have today and it works for you, just do it. If the rates end up coming down, give John a call and say, refi my loan.
Right. It's like,
but at least you secured the price.
Yeah.
You know, like we tell people, when rates come down, prices usually traditionally go up. So we recommend, you know, if you know what you're getting, do it. But here's one thing I want to point out is, just to tell you something recently. So the market has slowed down. And if anybody is in real estate listening, which I know we have a lot of people that are, or any type of a business that relates to the market, whatever industry you're in, I was interviewed on our local ABC affiliate, and they do all the time when there's a real estate story, because I've been doing it for over 4 decades. And one of the questions, they said that statistics show it slowed down a little bit, and I immediately said yes, and that's a huge benefit for real estate buyers because there's more opportunity. So I've been through 4 really bad real estate markets since the 1980s. And you hear all these realtors talk, when it's bad, tell people, yeah, it's horrible, it's really bad. I don't want to work with you. I mean, I don't want to work with somebody that's already got in their head it's horrible. I preach to people that when it is not going the way that you want it to, brag about the opportunities that this brings. But my point is, when I was on the other night, getting my opinion about the market, they interviewed another real estate professional who actually used to work at my last company. Wonderful lady, but they interviewed her, and she was the world's coming to an end. It was extreme opposite. They interviewed Van Deeb. Great opportunities out there. Now is the time to get out there and buy some real estate. She was, it is so slow. Nothing's happening. Listings are just sitting. It's a horrible market. We're just waiting for interest rates to drop. And I'm like, who's going to want to do business with someone like that?
It's bad energy.
It just is. I mean, buying a home is exciting. And it's, to me, I'm probably the only guy that thinks this way, but I think our industry, John, is recession-proof. I had some of my best years during the worst times because people still need shelter. People need shelter and they need someone to finance it. And if we're going to put our head in the sand and convince ourselves that things aren't great and you portray that to your client, they're not going to work with you. You know, you can be honest and still be somebody that somebody wants to work with. Sure, let's just use the real estate market. Okay, if it wasn't good, like I say it is, but if it wasn't good, I want to work with somebody saying that, yes, on a national level, the market has dropped. However, locally, we've got some really great opportunities, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's always going to be pros and cons.
And let's concentrate on the pros.
Well, exactly, because it's just one of those things where, you know, you flow to the energy. And if you see, like you mentioned, there's opportunity out there at the given time. I mean, when rates do come down, what's going to happen to home prices?
Yeah.
They're going to go up. There's going to be more competition, you know, and so it's never going to be perfect. But again, you just have to be able to put yourself in a position where you're seeing all the facts. Where are the pieces of the puzzle of your life? And I think a lot of people just are making too many assumptions. There's so much information out there that is...
Get it from the professional locally. I tell people, don't listen to the national news. We're exempt from that. We're thriving. The Omaha, Nebraska market is thriving.
And consistently. Yeah,
we don't have the dips. You know, we're growing part of the country. So, John, one of the things that I really believe in is people that are, doing extremely well, like you are at major team mortgage, that get involved in the community and give back. I always have said my whole career that it's the community that brought me to the dance, and I want to dance with the community when they need me. I really like what I read about you, John, with F3. Tell us a little bit about, because you're giving back to the community, not just monetarily, but you're giving back with your time, your words, your presence. Tell us about F3.
F3. So for those who don't know, it stands for Fitness, Fellowship, and Faith. And it was started by ex-Marines back in 2011 out of North Carolina. But until I went to a Christmas party back in 2018, and then my first day was January 3rd of 2019, which over a glass of bourbon, guys were telling me about it. I'm like, I'm one of those guys where I'm curious and, going back to responsiveness, it's either I let this pass by or I give them my word, I'll be there. And so I showed up at 5:30 in the morning.
Good man.
Which January 3rd, I think, fell on maybe a Tuesday or Wednesday, and it was cold. It was, if you don't have the right equipment,
this is outside.
Brutal. This is outside year-round.
Fitness, faith, and
fellowship.
Yep. Here comes the fitness part at 5:30 in the morning.
So a lot of times they say fitness is what brings you in, but you stay for the fellowship and the faith. So there's cafeteria. There's a lot of weird lingo.
Yeah.
So the first time you come, you're like, what's going on? Everyone
what are you doing at 5:30?
So it's a boot camp style workout. It's volunteer led, open to all men, free of charge, led in a volunteer fashion. It ends in a COT, Circle of Trust. So whoever's leading that group that morning, whatever is on their heart, whatever they want to share. And it's a time to be vulnerable and help others feel like they're not alone. Because kind of the motto is to leave no man behind, or the credo, leave no man behind, but leave no man where you found him. And so they talk about the sad clown syndrome, which I'm like, sad clown?
Tell me about that.
What about these clowns?
Yeah.
So a lot of men, I mean, especially as they get older, they're not in the communities of high school and college and the activities they're a part of. Then they get married and they go into work, clock in from 8 to 5. And before they know it, guys don't have that strong circle of men to be around and to support them. And so, they're kind of going through the motions of life. And you can tell in people's eyes if they're, just kind of, they're alive, but they're not. And it's really sad. And so the longer I've been in F3, I've been able to identify those people, and I've, we call it EH, emotional headlock, to get them to come to work out at that time, because that can be difficult if you're not a morning person.
And how often do you meet?
It's Monday through Saturday, and
every day. Every day.
So Chad Bruff, Wait Time is his nickname,
Wow.
brought it to Omaha from Indiana back in middle of 2018.
So you go at 5:30 in the morning?
5:30 in the morning. Okay. I was there this morning. So my wife, she used to run early in the morning. So when we lived in Copperfields over on 202nd F Street, she'd run by these guys, and she knew some of them, I think, from back in college. And so when we saw them at this Christmas party, they brought it up to her, and then, of course, I became a part of that conversation. But, so there was one site per day at that time, and now 6 years later, there's 10-plus sites per day around Omaha. Hundreds of men are getting out and bettering themselves first thing in the morning.
Wow.
The red pill versus blue pill. It's so cool. Yeah. And it's changed people's lives. I mean, you're talking about ex-drug addicts, alcoholics that are now clean and
they're part of something.
They're a productive role in society, and they're helping bring others up because they've been through it. And
this is like Bible study, but it's more hands-on, and it's including fitness.
Yeah, and
fellowship. I mean, it describes it all: fitness, faith, and fellowship. Everything you're saying.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, I feel blessed.
Just give me an idea, John. How long? So 5:30 to how long?
Yep. So either 5:30 to 6:15 or 5:15 to 6, and then immediately following, if guys can make it, depending on their schedules, they'll go to cafeteria. So,
what's cafeteria?
Starbucks, Scooters, IV, have a cup of coffee, and talk about life and business, personal and professional development. And there's certain mornings that have what's called Q Source, to where there's an F3 book that, covers a number of topics that men oftentimes aren't talking about. Yeah. And, through that vulnerability, you start to see others that have been pretty shy when they first came out. And now they're like, you know what? My wife and I are just not doing that well. And, whether it be a sickness in the family. And that's another really cool thing is we'll pray before we head out, based on any announcements or prayer requests. And so when they call it ball and man, or I'm forgetting the name, but anyways, we'll all be
got a bunch of cool names for all this stuff.
Yeah, because whether it be cancer, there's so many people going through different things that you're unaware of until you hear them speak of it. And so,
how does that make you feel when you see somebody join your F3 group that might be lost, might not have, you can tell by looking at them, like you said, they've got some issues that, that they may not be happy. How does that make you feel after a while that you've been with them and you see this completely changed, transformed person?
Oh, man. It reminds me of HOPE, and the acronym being hang on, pain ends. You got to keep moving. You got to keep.
Hang on, pain ends.
Pain ends.
That's a good description of hope.
Yeah, that came from a ex-mortgage coach of mine.
Yep.
But that's where, whether it be in your professional field or personally, the integration of both, you can't have one without the other. And, going back to your word respond, like how are you going to respond to adversity when it hits you? And some people, and you can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. Men oftentimes, especially generations before us, closer to the Great Depression, it's survival. And men just tend to hold things in. Whereas women, they're talking about their feelings, and it's just more natural, I think, for them. But this group would be a prime example of how, you're coming together in the community with people that are, willing to show up and make a difference.
So, John, you're going to have a lot of people that watching this podcast. If somebody wants to get involved with you, is it a closed group, or would you take more people on?
It is open to all men, and I think we've had over 3,000 men in the greater Omaha area that have tried it since it started here in Omaha. So F3Omaha.com would be where they can go to.
And if they want to go to your website and reach out to you and talk about it, can they give you a call too?
And that happens often.
They ask you your experiences?
Yeah. I mean, most recently, a guy who I hadn't seen since probably high school reached out, saw an Instagram post that I had made, and was like, tell me more about F3. Yeah. So before you know it, he's coming out. And it's pretty neat.
That's really pretty neat. Dang cool to be, you know, giving back to the community, helping people get better. And, you know, our great producer, Dylan, has heard me say this many times, because I bring it up in all my speeches and anytime I can to make people aware, is they did a study in 1998, a mental health study, that 1 out of 8 people had some form of depression, anxiety, or mental illness. And that was 1998. They did that same study in February 2022, John, and it's 1 out of 2.5 people. So there's people that you're with every day that you have no clue that they're going through a really hard time. Maybe it's financial insecurities. Maybe it's loneliness. Maybe it could be physical. It could be a medical issue. But people are going through stuff today, and they feel like they're alone. So I really commend you on your involvement in F3, giving back to people, not just the community. But when you're making people strong like you are, John, helping them get to where they want to go, you're building a community, because then they're going to go be productive people in the community, and they're going to emulate what you guys are doing.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And when you get your day started early in the morning, even when you don't want to get out of those warm sheets, it just, the ball starts rolling faster. And I always like to say, it's like you got to be selfish first thing in the morning so you can be selfless
I like that.
throughout the day. And
I like that.
It's just like anything. Without the experience, you can't have the wisdom. And so if you continue to respond to what's possible and keep moving, good things can happen.
You praise people, you raise people.
And that's another good one.
Yeah. John, I'm grateful for you being on the show today. Obviously, if anybody is looking to refinance their property or their home or get a new mortgage, John Major is one of the best in the business. And I love to do business with people that are giving back to the community and to giving back to humans like you are. So tell us the website that people can find you at again real quick.
MajorTeamMortgage.com, and John Mortgage Major on about every social out there.
Right on. So follow him, John Major Mortgage, and Mortgage Team, MajorTeamMortgage.com. It'll take me 100 times.
It's all good.
I'll get it right. But thanks for being on the show today. I'm very grateful.
Grateful for you too.
Yeah. So thank you all, and remember, it's important that you subscribe to this podcast, because somebody will benefit they'll get some takeaways by what John and I talked about to help improve their personal lives, but mostly their business lives as well. So please subscribe, and thank you very much for watching the Van Deeb podcast.